Yeah, you have an Orc's ballistic skill chance of Cult Ambush working. If that doesn't sway you as to how terrible it is, I don't know what will. Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here, and in today's video I am going to talk about Genestealer Cults and their commanders. I'm going to give you a few observations that I've had of playing against Genestealer Cults, or not, as the case may be. I'm going to show you the models for the different commanders, and then I'm going to go over the rules. Let's get into it. Now, I don't claim to be the most prolific kill team player in the world, and certainly I only really play at my local game store, and nobody there plays Genestealer Cults, which I think is weird. They're not a bad team. You know, they're definitely not bottom tier. They're decent. They have some very interesting and kind of cool options. However, I think the reason I don't see them played, and I should see them played because, of course, they're from the core set. So almost anyone that plays Kill Team probably has them as an option. But the reason I don't see them played, I guess, is that from the core set, I think it's pretty not up for debate that the Adeptus Mechanicus are a stronger faction. And so if anyone was going to play one of the starter box factions, you'd probably end up going with Admech. Yeah. Also, I think another hindrance for the Genestealer Cults is that the rule they ported over from 40k, what's it called? Cult Ambush, doesn't do much, actually. And it's very random, so you can't rely on it. And, yeah, it's not great. Anyway, let's quickly have a look at the models, because this is one of the few armies where I actually have the models. They're not painted, but first up we have a Magus, and this is little Magus. I do think these are very cool models. I very much like them. Next up we have a Primus. Ideally, I would have done more than simply spray paint them black, because this is very hard to see. Flipping the page. Next up we have a Patriarch. Here we go. Big model for anyone that can't tell. Very cool model as well. Really like it. And finally an Iconward, which I don't have, but I can't really see anyone being annoyed at you for proxying this guy in. He's got a thing. So there you go. Okay everyone, let's start with the Magus. So, we've got 6-inch move, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 4, attack 3, leadership 8, save 5 up. So that's pretty much what you'd expect from something that is effectively a normal human, guardsman kind of thing. 4 wounds is nice. That's all I can really say about it. So you're armed with an auto pistol and a force stave. The auto pistol is 12 inches, pistol 1, strength 3. Yeah, okay. So, useless. And a force stave, which is strength plus 2, so strength 5, not bad. AP minus 1, damage D3. Again, the force stave, actually, I think all of the psychers seem to have a force stave, and it's very nice. Force stave is top notch. I went and checked that last statement. No, not all psychers have a force stave. I'm making that up, so ignore that. Okay, the Magus, like all of them, has the Cult Ambush ability. Now, this is the ability that I said I don't think really ported that well over to Kill Team, and so makes it all a bit weird. However, for anyone that doesn't know, and that's probably quite a few of you because you never play against them, after deployment, but before the first battle round, roll a d6 for this model on a 5+. This model can immediately move up to 6 inches. For anyone that doesn't know, you know what, I will save too many comments about how Cult Ambush works for a review of their team. But obviously, if you mix that with a veteran, can be very, you can probably get a turn 1 charge, no problem. Then you get Unquestioning Loyalty. Roll a d6 each time you use the Lookout Sir Commander tactic on this model. On a 2+, you gain a command point. So basically, 5 times out of 6, you are going to use Lookout Sir for free. Which is good. Psychic. This model can attempt to manifest 1 psychic power and deny 1 psychic power in each psychic phase. It knows the Cybot psychic power as well as 1 psychic power generated from the Brood Mind Discipline, which is this one here. Now the Magus at level 1 is 30 points, at level 2 he's 35, at level 3 he's 50, and at level 4 he's 70. Nothing additional for Auto Pistol or Full Stave. So obviously, at this point, he's kind of sucking. 30 points is good though. But let's not forget that 30 points is also an Exalted Champion from Chaos. So, you know, they are, points-wise, they are exactly the same. Let's make sure I'm not making that up. Here we go. Exalted Champion, 30 points, 35, 50, 70. Exactly the same here from the Magus. So, we need some really good psychic powers to make this guy worthwhile. Right. Paralyzing Hypnosis. And don't forget, you can only take one of these three. You need to go in with a game plan if you're taking Mr. Magus boy here. Okay, Paralyzing Hypnosis. Paralyzing Hypnosis has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select a visible enemy model within 18 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of the next psychic phase, the target cannot fire Overwatch. Cannot be chosen to fight until all other models able to do so have fought in the fight phase, even if charged, and must subtract 1 from its hit rolls. That's not terrible, actually. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Obviously, you want to get that on one of their high-value guys. Preferably anything that's only shooting once. If they got any heavies, throw Paralyzing Hypnosis on them. I like it. That's pretty nice, actually. Pleasantly surprised. Let's keep going. Over to the number 2, Mind Control. Mind Control has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, pick an enemy model within 12 inches of the Psyker and roll 3d6. If the score is less than that model's leadership characteristic, nothing happens. If it is equal to or greater, that model immediately shoots another enemy model of your choice as if it were the shooting phase, or makes a single close combat attack against another enemy model within 1 inch as if it were the fight phase, as if it were part of your kill team. Okay, so the same proviso with this as we get with any other sort of Mind Shackle, Scarabs, etc. You are making the enemy model part of your kill team, so if it is within 1 inch of a friendly model, which it probably, very well could be, when you use this on it, that friendly model becomes an enemy model, and so you cannot shoot, you'd only, but in this situation, you would be able to attack. For a warp charge value of 6, that's pretty nice. I like it. Both of these really, again, you're wanting to use these on their big targets, and Mind Control could be devastating against enemy commanders. It's a bit silly sounding, but the Magus, assuming you're not doing Army of One, the Magus could completely turn the game around for you, and in a bizarre way, he becomes the assassin. But not for the enemy's commander, but for the whole of the enemy's team, because your enemy will probably, depending on their faction, will probably bring an assassin, knowing that you're going to bring a commander as well, and maybe they're expecting you to bring your Broodlord, and so they're going in there fully kitted out with their biggest guy. So you just mind control him, and turn 2, whatever, wreck half of his team. Very powerful, very good. It's only a warp charge value of 6, so you're almost certainly getting it off. Very nice, very nice. Then we have Might from Beyond. Might from Beyond has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select a friendly model within 18 inches of the Psyker. Add 1 to the strength and attacks characteristics of that model until the start of the next psychic phase. So that's a pretty standard buff. You're going to want to put that on an Aberrant or on one of your... what are they called? Acolytes. Are they? Let's find out. Basically, you want to use that on an Acolyte hybrid, an Aberrant, or a hybrid Mesomorph, not a Neophyte hybrid. Cool. Really, you want to get that 1 extra attack on one of your hybrids just to make sure that your Heavy Rock Drill, Heavy Rock Saw, or Heavy Rock Cutter actually hit. Now, with this model, you are probably wanting to take a Psyker. Specialism there. I don't really see why you take him as any of the others. He's all about the psychic power. If you're not using Psychic, you're probably not using him correctly, because he doesn't have anything to him outside of that. And if you just want to have the cheapest possible commander, he's actually, I believe, he's the 3rd most expensive. Okay, that's the Magus down. We're going over to the Primus. Wow. Okay, this is our Our cheap close combat guy. Let's take a read. So, movement 6, weapon skill 2 ups, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 4, pretty good for someone that looks like a normal human. Toughness 3, weapon wounds 5, attacks 4, leadership 9, save 5 up. Oh, yes, that's another quick point here. There's no invuln save on these two guys here. So you are going to be using that unquestioning loyalty to have a look out, sir, to get your normal regular guys killed. You are going to want a few meat shield units, definitely, for this. Okay, so the Primus is armed with a needle pistol, a bone sword, toxin injector, claw, and blasting charges. Needle pistol first. It's pistol 1, pretty normal. Strength is 1, however, it always wounds on a 2-up. So obviously that's pretty nice, but it's only no AP, damage 1. So still good though, still good. Anything that wounds on a 2-up is nice. Then you get the bone sword, strength user, so strength 4, can't complain. AP minus 2, very nice, damage only 1. But don't forget you'd be having 4 attacks with that, so yeah, gonna get some work done. Toxin injector claw, strength is user, so strength 4. AP minus 1, damage 1. However, the ability is what matters here. This weapon always wounds on a roll of a 2+. Great. Furthermore, each time you make a wound roll of a 6+ with this weapon, that hit is resolved with an AP of minus 4. I feel like I should do some on-the-fly math hammer. Which are you wanting to attack with, the bone sword or the toxin injector claw? Good question. Toxin injector claw. There you go. I've answered it for you. Yeah. I think it's just better. Let's see when it wouldn't be better. So if you are fighting against anything with toughness 3 or 4, so the only time you're beating its wound on a 2+ is if you're attacking something with a toughness of 2, which would be a grot, I think. That's the only thing in the game. And I don't count Rogue Trader, because I'm sure there are some little flies and swarms in there that are toughness 2 as well. So the wounding on a 2+ is good. However, then you get AP of minus 1 there. But, of course, anytime you wound roll of a 6-up, you're resolving the AP on a minus 4. I would honestly just attack every time with the Toxin Injector Claw. Apart from a super niche scenario, Toxin Injector Claw beats the Bone Sword. Yeah. Anyway, he gets Cult Ambush again. Already discussed that. And he gets Unquestioning Loyalty again. Already discussed that. He can be almost everything, I think, there. Can't be a Psyker, obviously, but otherwise I think he can be every specialism. Yeah. Now, level 1, he's 28 points. Pretty nice. 2 points cheaper than the Magus. Then he's 33, 48, 68. So at every level, he's 2 points cheaper than the Magus. Cool. And he doesn't have... Oh, sorry, I didn't read blasting charges. It's 6 inches, grenade d6, strength 3. That's why I didn't read it. Okay, so let's see what the tactics do for us. First up, we have Cult Demigod for 1 CP. Now, it's an aura tactic. Activate at the start of the movement phase, go to the end of the battle round. As long as this model is not shaken, you can add 1 to hit rolls in the fight phase for friendly models that are within 6 inches of this model. Now, I think that's actually really good with the Primus. Mainly because you have to take into account the other models that you are going to be using this with. Where are they? Basically, these 3 units all want to be right next to the Primus. Especially if you've got an Aberrant, minimum 16 points, potentially 18. You need to have a way to ensure that, you've only got 2 attacks, you need to hit. You need to hit. And a 3-up for 18 points, that's not great. That's not great. But having your Primus there, activating that, perfect. It is one of the few times that I like the plus to hit modifiers for an aura tactic. So I'm actually all for the Cult Demigod tactic, and I think it makes the Primus a real contender, and he will slot in very nicely with a very melee heavy kill team. And because he's only potentially 28 points, you can be a very heavy melee team. You could easily run him with multiple rock drills or aberrants just chugging along next to him, all hitting on 2s suddenly. Next up, we have Meticulous Planning, 2 command points. Use this tactic at the start of the first battle round if your kill team includes a Primus. Roll a d6 for each model from your kill team that did not move as a result of Cult Ambush ability. On a roll of a 5-up, you can move that model as described in its Cult Ambush ability. So it gives you a reroll on your Cult Ambush, which is good. I'm not going to say it's not, but I think that Cult Ambush in itself isn't really great. And again, it's still only on a 5-up twice. Having said that, Primus is all about getting that first, you want to be in combat, you don't want to be out of combat with him, and if you're running a Primus, you are going to be running a load of melee guys, and so actually, you want that Cult Ambush to go off. I just wish it was better. I wish it was reroll and then on a 4+ maybe. That would entice me a little bit more, but as it is, I have failed many a shot with orcs that hit on 5-ups when they shoot twice. So, yeah, you have an orc's ballistic skill chance of Cult Ambush working. If that doesn't sway you as to how terrible it is, I don't know what will. But okay, in theory, meticulous planning, really nice. However, too unreliable still. Okay, let's do this. Movement 8 inches, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 5+, strength 6, toughness 5, wound 6, attack 6, leadership 10, save 4+. It's a healthy stat line. Now his monstrous rending claws are strength 6 because they're his strength, AP -3, damage D3, and you may re-roll failed wound rolls for this weapon. In addition, each time you make a wound roll of 6+, that hit is resulting in an AP of -6 and damage of 3. Now, that's obviously amazing, but also somewhat less relevant at this level of taking commanders in because the enemy commander will almost certainly have an invuln save, so the AP of -6 isn't game-changing, but obviously damage 3, really nice. Okay, so obviously that's a really good stat line. Let's keep going. So he gets Cult Ambush. He gets lightning reflexes, so this is the only guy here that seems to actually have a invuln save. It's only a 5-up. Then he gets Swift and Deadly, reroll failed charge rolls, and then Unquestioning Loyalty, which we already know. It's good, I like him. Let's keep going though, because he's also a Psyker. This model can attempt to manifest 1 psychic power and deny 1 psychic power in each psychic phase. It knows the Cybot psychic power and the Horror psychic power, page 89. Now, this is a psychic power from the Tyranids. Let's see what the Horror is. The Horror has a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select an enemy model within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker. Till the start of the next psychic phase, that model must subtract 1 from their hit rolls and leadership characteristics. Okay. Interesting thing to note here, unless it's been FAQ'd, the Broodlord from the Tyranids only has a strength of 5, whereas the Patriarch has a strength of 6. And also the Patriarch actually has a ballistic skill value, whereas the Broodlord doesn't. If I'm honest, I'm kind of going to assume that that is due to Games Workshop copy-pasting rules, but hey, what do I know? So yeah, okay, the Horror seems nice, and if you're taking him, he's your only Psyker, that's what you're going to cast. That's the thing to cast for the -1 to hit roll on enemy commander or any sort of heavy unit. Otherwise, I'd probably just go with the Cybolt. Not bad, but then, of course, we get to his points cost. Now, I believe he is the most expensive model alongside the Broodlord in the game. Level 1, 131 points. Level 2, 151. Level 3, 171. Level 4, 196. So this is the definition of the one-man army. You take the level 4 and you just go nuts. Although, to be honest, I'd actually probably take the level 3 and then also take one of the commander traits that gives you the D3 command points at the start of the game. Or the Ignore Flesh Wounds, possibly. You could actually fit both in there, I think, yeah. As that would just beef him up a bit more than taking another ability, but that's up to you. So, absolute beast. However, if I was doing Army of One, I'd take him, definitely. Otherwise, I'm actually leaning towards the Primus. I think the Primus was really nice. Next up, we have our cheapest commander. He's only 18 points at level 1, guys. Super cheap. Okay, let's read it out. Acolyte Iconward. Movement 6, Weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 3, wounds 4, attacks 4, leadership 8, save 5 plus. He's armed with an auto pistol, rending claw, and blasting charges. We know the auto pistol already, it's only a strength 3, pistol 1, 12-inch range. Rending claw, strength user, so strength 4, not terrible. AP -1, damage 1. Each time you make a wound roll of a 6 plus with this weapon, that hit is resolved with an AP of -4, which is nice. But as you know, your plan is to roll 6s, you don't have a plan. Good. And blasting charges we've already been over. It's a strength 3 grenade. He has Cult Ambush, and he has Unquestioning Loyalty. However, he also has Sacred Cult Banner. You can reroll failed nerve tests for friendly models that are within 6 inches of this model. 6 inches. What is the average leadership of your guys? I don't know. I'm assuming it's 6. What do you think? What do you think? So we've got 7s. Oh, okay, they're all 7s. Or 8s, not bad, not bad. Well, I suppose they are, infused with the Tyrannid hive mind stuff. So they're essentially insane. As most of the 40k universe does seem to be. But let's not judge, Let he who has not sinned cast the first stone, all that jazz. We're all a bit nuts. So, he's not bad. Let's keep going. What is his tactic? So, it's an aura tactic we use at the start of the movement phase. As long as this model is not shaken, you can roll a d6 each time a friendly model within 6 inches of this model loses a wound. On a 6, the wound is not lost. If a model already has an ability with a similar effect, you choose which applies, reroll once. Okay. So I think what we have here... let's do the points cost. So he's 18 points, level 1, then 23 for level 2, 38 for level 3, 58 for level 4. So the reason to take him would be so that you can re-roll failed nerve tests and make a few guys a bit more durable. So if you're doing that, obviously... if you're only taking him at, let's say, max 40 points, you can have a really well kitted out team. That's for sure. And then you're giving them all, a 6-up feel no pain, effectively. And re-rolling failed nerve tests. He's not bad, but he's definitely part... you would only take him in a specific, I have built my team this way because I know that I am getting to re-roll re-roll failed lost wounds and failed nerve tests. So I'm expecting to be hardier than usual. Okay. And that is the Acolyte Iconward. I don't think he's bad. However, I think in general play, I think you're really tossing up between the Magus and the Primus. I think the Iconward didn't do it for me there. The Patriarch is your army of one character. He's your assassin. If you have to have a beast, you go with him. But in general, I think it's the Magus and the Primus. And I think it would depend slightly on the faction you're going up against. But I would default to the Primus. I think the Primus is very nice, very strong. However, if I was going up against, let's say, Admech, and I knew they were going to be bringing their Magus, I'd take a Magus with mind control. I think that's a brilliant move. Now you are having to roll over his leadership on 3d6, which is by no means a guarantee, but 3d6 isn't bad. That's an average of 10. So yeah, I do think there's a lot of play when it comes to mind control and being able to use that as the way of killing enemy commanders. Well, no, not quite, sorry. Your heavy rock drills are going to be killing enemy commanders. This is going to be using the enemy commander to kill the whole of the rest of the team. And I think that's actually going to be very powerful. However, if, let's say we're going up against Imperial Guard, I'm going to take the Primus. If we're going up against some... that's all I can think of. Tau, I'm taking the Primus. Basically, anyone that has a relatively, potentially cheap HQ commander, and so they may be bringing a commander that mind control isn't really great on, I think the Primus trumps the Magus every time. However, if, as is probably going to be quite likely, definitely at the start of the release, if people are enjoying to using a big assassin character, they're going to be taking their big assassin characters. Mind control probably beats the Primus. And there you have it, everybody. That is Glass Half Dead's review first look, impressions, whatever you want to call it, I don't know, of Genestealer Cults commanders. I think they're actually not bad at all. I think the Primus and the Magus have a lot of play, especially in a faction that generally is known for, cheap horde-like units. This brings another element to the army that I think will actually significantly increase just how good it is on the tabletop. Okay, everybody, this has been Glass Half Dead. I hope you've enjoyed. What do you think of Genestealer Cults? Have you actually seen them be played? Because I haven't, which is sad, because they're nice. Okay, everybody, hope you've had a great day. Hope you continue to have a great day. See you tomorrow. Glass Half Dead, logging out.